Hi, I'm Andre, and this is my review for Frozen 2. It's nice to see an actual Frozen sequel. You know how they've been trying to keep Frozen going without making another movie, so they had all these different shorts that they put out there, especially that 30-minute one that was supposed to be like a television special, but they threw it in front of Coco. But this is like the official Frozen sequel. This is them actually going into more detail and more depth about the characters in Frozen. Now, when I saw the first Frozen, I was like, yeah, this is a good movie. I enjoy this. Disney usual quality. I prefer Tangled personally over Frozen, but you know, Frozen was good. But then Frozen just became this phenomenon. Everyone was doing their covers of Let It Go. Frozen merchandise was everywhere. You even had like cute Disney couples singing Love is an Open Door together, which I found kind of ironic that a loving couple would sing a song together where one of the characters in that song is the one who betrayed Anna and tried to kill her. So, oh, spoiler alert for the first movie. Which, if you haven't seen the first movie, don't worry about it, because this movie is going to explain it like a couple times. They're going to remind you, just in case you tuned out when your kid was watching, here's how Frozen 1 went down. Including one scene that's actually really good at doing so. But I just love that we're now progressing this story. And the story is good. It's got good animation. It's got good characters. All the voice actors are good in this. Songs are cool. I listened to the soundtrack on my way out. The soundtrack's already out there, so I listened to that after I watched the movie, so that's always a good sign. Some time has passed from the events of the first film. Anna and Elsa are like, man, that was a crazy adventure. Elsa's like, yeah, I don't want to go on any more adventures. I just want to chill out, be queen, hang out with my friends. Everything's kind of cool. But then all of a sudden, she keeps hearing this voice. Ah! She's like, what's that? And it keeps going. And she's like, no, voice, I ain't got time for you. I'm not trying to get in any more shenanigans. We chilling out. We had some crazy adventures that first time. I ain't trying to do this again. And that voice is like, make a sequel. So this leads them to this enchanted forest. They go inside this enchanted forest and things happen. That's pretty much how much I'm going to tell you, because once we get past that, it's going to be a little bit more spoilery. Let me just say this. If there is a popular television series that you watched, say around the 2000s, an animated show, and you really loved it, and then they made a live action movie about it, and you were like, wow, that live action movie is not what I wanted for that animated show about this concept. Disney took that concept and put it in Frozen 2 and was like, we got you. I didn't even watch every episode of that show, but the moment they gave some backstory about this enchanted forest, I was like, okay. Or there's actually another show that I grew up with, and I thought the same thing about that too. You'll see. Let me tell y'all something. Elsa is an Avenger. I didn't think she could do any more with ice, and this movie was like, nah, man. I know there's ice characters in Marvel stuff already, but I'm saying, she should have showed up in Endgame. Like, they should have did it on your left, a portal should have opened up, and Elsa should have came out going psh, because she goes crazy with ice, man. She can make ice appear out of her hands. She can make ice appear from her feet. She can create ice platforms to step on. Just anything you can think of that she can do with ice, snow, she got it. They kind of play a little bit into the differences between Anna and Elsa, not only about their relationship together, but also how people around them treat them. Because every time something goes wrong, they're like, oh, Elsa can help us because she's got powers. Anna, you know, she's there. And Anna's like, look, man, did you see the first movie? I went through some stuff. You know, I climbed mountains. My boyfriend tried to kill me. I got frozen. I'm strong too, all right? I'm voiced by Kristen Bale. I'm in the good place. So I thought that was a very interesting part of the movie too. You got two sisters, one with powers, one without. So what is the definition of being powerful? Is it always superpowers, or is it other things as well? I thought that was a really cool thing to put out there. I also feel like the way that they handled the princess dynamic in this movie is really good. It's no secret that Disney has been trying to figure out how to keep the princess line going while not trapping themselves into the typical stereotypes that people associate with Disney princesses. So you've seen everything from Disney princess being all like, I'm bold, I don't need anybody else to help me, I can do everything myself. Or they do that whole meta commentary thing where they kind of make fun of themselves, very self-aware of what a Disney princess is, which if you remember the scene from Ralph Breaks the Internet, that's all about that. But I feel like what's nice about this one is that by just having the characters just be characters, go on their mission, sometimes they're successful, sometimes they have faults, sometimes they have fears, they have intense conversations with each other or with themselves. I felt like it was a good way of showing the new Disney princess without the meta commentary and just telling its story and being the characters within that story. That's cool. I like that. So that was nice. You know, one of the rules of a Disney princess is to have an animal sidekick, but Elsa was like, I ain't got no animal sidekick. I'm still a Disney princess. Frozen 2 was like, oh yeah? Okay, we'll see about that. We got toys to sell this holiday season. So we gonna make something for you, Elsa. You gonna like it. It's a sequel plot. It's definitely something they were like, all right, we kind of did everything in that first one. What else can we do? And they pulled out this plot. It's weird because the plot is very simple, but also very convoluted at the same time. Like, the story that they're trying to tell is a pretty straightforward story, but they go through a lot of different angles to tell that story. There's also a little bit of meandering as well. Once you kind of get the basic idea of what this movie needs to do, you can tell it was something that could have been done in a short amount of time. So there's definitely some scenes that are added or packed in that's like, this isn't really necessary. You're just kind of stretching the clock. There's a couple of scenes that happen that I'm like, I guess that's needed. I don't know. Olaf is like a snowman version of Urkel. Like, there's sometimes when you can just tell that he's getting on everybody's nerves and they just want to be like, go home, Olaf. But then he'll say something sweet or say something funny. You're just like, oh man, all right, come on, dude. Olaf actually has one of the best scenes in the movie. It was a scene that when it was over, people literally applauded in the theater. So I was like, okay, that's really good. And again, it kind of correlates to the, if you missed the first one, they got you covered. They also try to introduce some new characters in this movie. Sterling K. Brown as Matthias is my favorite. His design is nice. They gave this dude like some facial hair, some cheekbones, and then they got like this like kind of like twisty hair that he has. It's all scruffy and nice, and he's got like gray tips, and I was like, man, this is a nice design, like a nice facial design for this character that you don't really do a whole lot with, but I'm glad that this design at least exists. I hope that this gets used in something else with a longer screen time, but this is a really good design. There's a couple other characters that pop up in this movie. You're like, oh man, they're showing them, so they must be important. Nah, they're just there for some exposition or just to have a couple of extra supporting characters. But by the time the movie ends, you're like, what was their purpose again? I don't know. But for me personally, the VIP of this movie is not Anna, it's not Elsa, and it's not Olaf. It's freaking Kristoff, dude. Kristoff is so good in this movie. Now, the plot that they give for Kristoff is a very basic, almost sitcom level type of plot, but he does it really well, and he's just funny. And this leads to like one of the coolest songs. It's the type of song that I'm like, oh, this song was made for me. Like, enjoy all your Idina Menzel singing, and there's good stuff. I enjoy it. Enjoy your little cute little Josh Gad Olaf song. But this Kristoff song right here, that's for me. Y'all made that for me specifically, and a thank you. I mean, some of y'all gonna like it too, but I'm just saying, for me personally, I was like, this song's made for me. This is my song. Speaking of the songs in general are good. None of them are ever going to hit Let It Go status. So I think because of that, you're gonna probably have some people like, oh, the songs aren't memorable. I think the songs are good. I just don't think that any of them is gonna be like, oh, that's just as good as Let It Go. It's like they're good songs. They work with the story. And what I particularly like about it is that they do that thing where part of a song will show up in another song. Musicals do this a lot. They also did this in Moana, where you have like a certain element of a song, and then even though another song is going on later, that element sneaks up into that song as well. They have a couple of elements of songs that do that in this movie. To me, that makes all the music in the movie more cohesive, so it feels like they're all part of the story as well, as opposed to, let's stop the movie to do this particular song that's not connected to any other song in the movie. So I thought that was a neat way of doing it. For me, I thought it worked. You know how Demi Lovato had her version of Let It Go when the first Frozen came out, and people thought that was the one they were going to play on the radio, but then everyone got so hooked on the Idina Menzel version that they were like, nah, sorry, Demi Lovato, we're going to play the original version from the movie on the radio instead. If you still listen to the radio, there is a version of one of the songs that's in this movie that got re-recorded, the pop version, I guess you could call it. And man, it is fire. Idina Menzel, you did your thing, and I love your version. It's really good. But this one right here, I was like, shoot. Like, it's a song where if you played the song from that group, and I didn't tell you it was a song made from a Frozen 2 song, you probably wouldn't know. You'd be listening to the song like, man, this song is really good. I'd be like, yeah, it's really good. And then like, yeah, you know what? That song's from a Disney movie. Poof, smoke cloud, disappear. Man, this movie does something dark, followed by something sad, followed by something bold. And I was like, oh, shoot, Disney, you really doing this right now? I was really shocked. And I was like, oh man, if you go through with this, oh man, I might have to dust off the love a lot. I haven't given a love a lot in a while. You might get this Frozen 2 because you were doing something that I would not have expected from Disney. I was like, yeah, go for it. Do it. Why did I think that was going to happen? I forgot I'm watching a Disney movie. So of course that pretty little bow showed up and was like, let's wrap this thing up here. And everything, of course, gets its happy ending. And I was like, okay, fine. I'm not mad about this happy ending, but you set something up that I was like, dude, if you would have done that, I would have been like, man, Frozen 2, that is hardcore. You are the most hardcore Disney movie I've ever seen. And yeah, you know, Zootopia got you beat still, sorry. But it's still entertaining. I'm still having a good time. So here's the thing. If you have no interest in seeing a Frozen movie, if you didn't watch the first one or you didn't want to see a second one or whatever, there is nothing in this movie that's going to convince you that this is now the time to jump in the Frozen bandwagon. Totally understand. If this is something you are looking forward to, if you're interested in Frozen, for me personally, I enjoyed Frozen 2. I'm gonna give it a fun shine. If they would have done a thing I want them to do, I would have probably given this a love a lot. But for right now, I'm going to give it a fun shine. I think it's a good fun theater experience. It's a good holiday film. It's not a Christmas film. It's a Thanksgiving film. I'll get into that if I ever talk about spoilers. It's a good movie. It's a good sequel. It's not a direct-to-video sequel. Thank goodness. But doing a Frozen 3 would stretch out. Like, they keep saying, like, this is it. They said there was only going to be one Joker movie, and $1 billion later, they changing it too. So I know if Frozen 2 makes some money, you're going to be like, well, can't we get a third one? You got away with 2. You good. Go make some new princesses. So yes, man, I had a good time with Frozen 2. Just a reminder that no matter what the age demographic is for a particular piece of entertainment, if it is something that is entertaining to you, then it is entertaining to you. This seems like a very normal, common sense concept, but for some reason, it's not always understood. Just saying. No particular reason to bring that out there. Oh, God. The internet is so stupid. Let me know if you're going to go see Frozen 2, or if you have seen Frozen 2, let me know what you thought about it. If you like this video, I got some more, so make sure you check those out. And also, if you're new here, subscribe to this channel if you like what you see. I love you like a play cousin. I'm Audi 5000.